What's going on, everyone? Today we are going to go over how I got to Diamond in Omega Strikers, and I did this primarily with X, Juno. There's some Estelle and some Luna as well. As of recording, I am around mid-Diamond right now, so I am a bit better than I was when I played these games, but I want to review all these games and show you guys exactly what I did to get there. So, first mistake I already made, I queued up as goalie. I never play goalie. The reason why goalie was selected was because I was playing with my friends before and I had a goalie quest, so I was like, hey, I'll just select goalie and you play goalie instead. But not a great start. First game of my day that day, and I just picked the wrong role, and I am really bad at goalie. I think I made a video on this before. I am around like maybe 1 or 2 tiers worse on goalie than I am at forward. Like, let's say I'm a diamond goalie, but I'd probably be maybe like a gold goalie. Sorry, I'm a diamond forward. I'd probably be like a gold goalie. But Luna, it's like, that's the only champ I play in goal, and I completely mess up that little dash in to help my team. And for the argument for WASD versus MOBA controls, MOBA on Luna feels so much better than WASD, but I'm so used to WASD now that I can't go back. And the reason why MOBA is so much better is because when you're doing your dash, it's just so much easier to aim because it's much more precise movement and I can go directly to where my cursor is. But our teammate gets knocked out here. I'll talk more on the game. We did let in what I would consider a soft goal. Like, if I... Yeah, that's another soft goal. Unfortunate. Like, if I was playing forward and my goalie let these 2 goals in, I would be pissed. That's how I define a soft goal. I tried to make the hero dash play there, but again, since I'm not used to playing Luna in goalie, it's a little rough. Maybe I should just play Juno because I'm just better at her, but I hope that my team would just like kind of carry me this game. I'm just going to try to be as light as possible when I'm in their backpack, and instead I get knocked out there, so really not a good start here. And yeah, we'll just skip over this game because, as you guys can see, this game is already over. Apologies to my team because that is completely on me. I had the wrong role queued up, but as you guys can see, like, yeah, demotion protected, so it's okay. Well, I guess it's really not okay, but it's, as you know, it is what it is. But hopping into the next game, I had the choice between picking X or Juno here. Those are my 2 mains, as we stated before. Since we have the Juliet, we already have one kind of brawly type of person. I figured I'd go Juno here, but I also could have probably won Estelle, because that's also in my champ lineup. For my trainings, I decided to go for the reduce ult cooldown, because I really like that whenever I'm facing people who can beat me up, because it allows me to remain useful if I like get knocked out, because I can ult before I die, or just in general damage them so they can't deal as much to me. But here we have Dubu. Oh, and by the way, for the whole Estelle thing, I think Estelle actually is a better pick, but at this point in time, I was not that great of an Estelle player. I think she's probably my best champion now, but as of playing this, definitely not. I missed the strike there. I'm a bit of a monkey, and I get knocked out by the X. I feel like this game I was playing very passively so far because I did not want to get knocked out by these 2 brawlers. That's essentially who I'm playing against. So I just need to keep my distance and maybe try to just burn some time and wait for a goal scoring opportunity, because once X doesn't have his cooldowns, he's very easy to deal with. Right before there, I probably should have cleared upwards into that little clearing. I just hate doing it against Dubu players because, man, Dubu's so good on maps like these where they could just block out entire portions of the map. But the X bullied me there. Luckily, Juliet kind of had the carry right there. If you hate getting bullied by all these fighting type people, some techs I like to use in my trainings is actually going for creator of durable things and creator of larger things as well, because it ends up dealing a bit more damage to them versus just having it up more often. So it depends if you need help in like bursty situations or in like more prolonged fights. But I'm just gonna try to play for, I guess, nothing because I get knocked out. Man, these first 2 games were not good for me at all, right? I queue up as a wrong role in the first game, and then this next one I get completely smurfed on. But to start off my day, I think I needed 6 wins in a row. So we need to go +6 in order to promote to Diamond so far. But I'll leave it as a surprise for how long it takes, but right now I'm kind of playing like second goalie. I'm just scared for my life against these 2 champions right now, and Dubu's probably like one of the best goalies on this patch. But our goalie gets knocked out. I'm going to try to actually play up a bit to just prevent the ball from even getting into our zone. And we somehow make like a pretty decent defense there. Not the best clear direction, but okay, Dubu completely blocked off that side. We should have like a decent scoring opportunity here. I should have jumped a little earlier there. But we get a good knockout on X. If we get it in the top corner, maybe we could work it around. So whenever you're playing in this type of situation, when you're on a power play, you always want to go to areas that are not guarded. And I feel like that's helped me a lot because it gets you open for passes, and their goalie can only be in so many places at a time. And especially since we have a Kai helping us, Kai is one of the more like... He's not like a dedicated goalie like Atlas or Dubu, right? He can contribute a lot to the offense, so he's actually one of the best power play goalies you could have on your team. So my Juliet gets knocked out. It's okay. We'll just play in the midfield a bit, just try to kill some time. And unlucky. I felt like we should have been able to clear that before she spawned, but I think if I jumped a little more to the left, it would have been fine, but I was a little too aggressive on that. So not the best display of my play so far. It does get a lot better. I promise you guys that. So we'll have to, you know, I remember when I played these games, they're at like really early hours in the morning, and I was resetting my sleep schedule because, man, Dubu is just way too good on that map, right? I was resetting my sleep schedule. I had been waking up at 5 p.m. for like the past month or something, and I finally reset my sleep schedule all the way to the other side to the point where I was waking up at 5 a.m. And that's why I'm not at my brightest. I think I woke up at like 5 or 6 to play these games. And luckily my Juliet came here to play. Mainly, I'm going to blame this game on my champion pick, even though I could outplay it just by being a better player. It's really not fun to play Juno into X Juliet. There aren't really many champs that enjoy facing them, right? But I don't think we're going to be able to defend that. They just have too much power there. If this same team composition would have happened today, I probably would have picked Estelle, but again, at the time, I was not the best Estelle player. I was just really adding her to my arsenal. But the game's tied 3-3, so we definitely still have a chance. I think X does like fall off a little bit. A lot of people tell me he doesn't, but I'm an X main, and I definitely feel like he's much better at the start than at the end of the games. But we get a good knockout there. I'm just going to try to bother this Dubu a bit, and then easy pass in for the goal there. Yeah, we just had a good knockout, so again, props to the Juliet. I'm really being carried by her this game so far. At least in all the good opportunities, you know? So 4-3, 30 seconds left, but you have to win by 2. I should have shot a projectile there instead of jumping. Maybe it was on cooldown. But this X is really bullying me hard. Good clear by the Kai there. I'd say like I'm definitely the weakest part of my team in this game. The weakest part of theirs might be the Dubu, because I feel like there are a lot of things he could have kind of saved that just weren't. I messed up my jump again there. I went too far up. I should have went a little bit back, and then we would have scored. Or sorry, I would have cleared it there. But here, I'm just going to bother the Dubu a bit. I should have scored there. I missed the strike. A lot of times, you just need to press Q or press your left click at the right time in order to score goals. And again, Dubu, weakest link on their team, so we get a nice easy goal there. So lucky for me, throw up the emote out because I got carried. And yeah, Kai was actually pretty solid as well. So overall, 1-1. Let's see what our LP is at. It's at 16, so we need to get 5 or 6 more wins in order to promote. But on to the next game. I'm just gonna first pick X. He's always my first go-to if he's not banned. And I'm just always going to use the same exact trainings: heavy-handed, tempo swing, and cast to last. I'm finally in my comfort zone. No more excuses. Let's get to work. Great ultimate by my Luna to start off the match. Easy knockout there thanks to her. And then do we get the Asher? I probably should have been able to get both of them out just because the ultimate from the Luna was just that good. But you know how I released a video before about how I just bothered their goalies all game instead of like even playing the puck? Against Dubu, that's probably like my favorite matchup, especially in the early game. But they have like Asher and X, so it's a little difficult just to walk right through them because they're gonna be punching me on the way there. So I have to adjust my play a tiny bit. So I'm gonna go hit the ball there, try to harass this X. And I wasted my ultimate a tiny bit there, but we do get a little bit of good damage. But, God, I feel like that goal should not have went in. But, again, I griefed on Luna the other game, so I can't be one to complain. Especially since the game we just won, I got carried as well. So, you know what? I'll let that one slide, especially since she had a good ultimate. She's good at hitting her abilities, she's just not that great at, like, reading the goaltending angles. So I get knocked out there. I feel like we should have won that fight, actually, but this did not happen. Somehow she's able to save that. The other team definitely messed up there. They should have scored there. One of my favorite things to do to counter other X players is when they attack your goalie, you're going to be in your defensive zone. So you have a lot of bonuses there. So if you duel him, there's no reason you shouldn't win because it's early game. We're like approximately the same level. And we also have the added bonus of having the defensive buffs in our zone. So you just pretty much always win that exchange. I'm going to be sitting on the Dubu for now. Era's doing a pretty good job of clearing. And right here, we should be able to score just like that. So whenever the ball is going towards the enemy goal and you are in a 1v1 scenario with their goalie, just wait. Do not strike the ball until the goalie either uses an ability or strikes the ball himself. You could use abilities to like kind of move him away from the ball. You'll see that example in maybe some other games, but you always want to just be patient and just wait. So I get knocked out there, but honestly it's fine because X burnt his ultimate and I was pretty much damaging both Dubu and X with my ultimate, so I really don't mind that. It's actually fine to die as X because I learned this when I watched some of the Omega X players. They are super aggressive in the enemy goal and they do not care about dying because as long as the enemy players use their abilities on you, they're not going to be a threat to score even though they have a power play if they use everything to try to kill you. So if they use like 1 or 2 ultimates and like maybe a primary ability, like, you're going to be chilling and your team's not going to get punished. But pretty solid goal there. That's just like classic X goal. You just walk into the enemy goal, ball's coming, Dubu like ults, it gets trapped in his ult, and then just whack the ball in. Alright, so this Asher is playing very... Look at this. The Dubu's probably crying for help in voice chat because as soon as I went to the enemy goal, the X just retreated right back. But again, remember how I talked about the X duels before, how I don't like fighting them? Or sorry, how I like fighting them when I'm in my defensive zone? If I'm in their offensive zone, I'm not going to give him that same chance. So as soon as I saw him run back to his Dubu, I just went on the Asher or played the ball instead. I get a really nice angle on the shot there. So we're up 4-1 now. So there's a minute 20 left. We could decide to run out the clock, but it's a little trickier than that. I feel like since we have so much knockout potential because Luna on your team just like gives you so much damage, we probably should just go for the win, and we get it right there. Their Dubu probably should have saved that one. They're a little distracted by me, I think, and Era had a nice shot there. And at the very beginning of the point, Luna had some good, had a good dash and like some good ability hits. So plus 19 there, so 35 LP. Let's try to see how we can keep this going. So in this next game, X is banned, so we insta-lock the Juno. We also have an Asher up front, so they're filling the brawler role for us. Hopefully this goes better than our last Juno game, because that was frankly pretty embarrassing. They're actually running Dubu forward, Atlas goalie, so pretty interesting selection there. I should have just struck that ball instead of using my projectile. Decent save there. Strike second on that one. And yeah, we're doing pretty well. Era should have actually won that strike war. We're going to jump and shoot our projectile as well. I wonder how to differentiate between shooting, as in like just hitting the puck, or shooting a projectile. Because I say shoot for both of them, but it's very confusing. So if anyone has a good method on that, let me know down in the comments below. I'm going to play in the midfield though. A lot of people wonder how people like to play midfield, and this is how I like to do it. Great Asher ult, by the way. But if I'm in that crowd, I'm essentially not doing that much there. So that's why you want to be kind of a little bit back. You know how some of you may watch hockey, and when you're in the enemy zone, like some people are up front, some people are at the blue line, and playing midfield when you're on offense, it's kind of like just playing like at the blue line. Of course, there's no actual blue line, so it's a little different. But what I mean by that is you just want to be in a position where you can get the puck right back into like their goal area after they try to clear it. If that Kai let in that goal, I would have been so pissed. But also, whenever someone's going for the core, as you guys saw right there, I got completely outplayed there. But whenever someone's going for the core, I just like shooting a projectile at them because it interrupts their strike a lot of time, and then it could often just get past them. Worst case, you just hit the ball with your blob anyways, and that's also a pretty good scenario there too. I could have knocked out that era there, but a little off on my targeting and timing. It's a little hard to do, but man, getting shrunk by era is so annoying. You just completely run out of space. Good knockout there. We're going to shoot a blob, try to score with this. If I hit it directly with the first part of the projectile, we would have scored, but I didn't get the best angle I could have. I should have just struck there instead of using the orb. And maybe here I should have struck upwards instead of right back at them because no one was up top. And oh my god. He was speed bursted as well, and he still lets it in. So that's what I mean by a soft goal. I feel like that should have been blocked. It's 1-1. The ball was in their zone the entire time, but it's 1-1. You know, it is what it is. I could have scored earlier, and that mistake would have never happened if I did. So it's never completely a blame game, right? I deflected it upwards there, or top right there. I should have just did right center. And over here, again, I'm just playing towards the midfield, able to get to that ball there. Didn't have the best hit angle, but this is what I mean. Like, that's where you're kind of like at the blue line. They try to clear it, you're right there, and then you just put it right back into the goal, and then hopefully Asher wins a strike war. I'm not expecting Asher to win most of the strike wars because she's 1v2 in their goal oftentimes, but if you get like 10 opportunities, she just needs to score on one of them, you know? So if she has like a 10% success rate, but you're giving her 10 chances, and that's completely fine. I don't know the exact math on that, I'm just making up numbers, but I'm just giving an example on that. Another thing, you may have noticed, I'm very conservative with my jump. I probably should be a little more aggressive on it. Jumping on Juno is probably my weakest point, but maybe I could have jumped in a lot of times to either create more opportunities or to prevent it from even getting to my Kai, because it seems like my Kai, I mean, he's helping a little bit on offense, but that other goal is still kind of tilting me right now. Great Asher ult again, and yeah, Asher's for sure the MVP for this game. Another thing about this particular game is we just have a better team composition. Like, they have Dubu forward. It's not meta, you know, but you don't have to play meta to win the game. I'm not saying like that's a thing, but we just have a great goalie pick, great midfield pick, and good upfront guy pick. I should have deflected downwards there. That was a good hit, and easy goal there, 5-1 win. Pretty good overall. But yeah, our goalie has 15 saves compared to their goalie's 23 saves. I'm actually going to keep track of whose goalie gets more saves. For the record, right now it is 65-115, so my goalie made a lot fewer saves than theirs. I feel like, again, this is a great tracker of seeing which forwards are doing better, because if you're applying a lot of pressure, you're going to, like, their goalie has to be carrying them, right? Like, so this is how you can tell who has a better or worse goalie every single game. Obviously, like, this isn't a perfect metric, but it's a good estimate. Keep in mind, the first game, that's when I dropped the ball, so we'll just keep that in mind as we look at the scoreboard going forward. But we're going to drop in the Insta-Lock X here, just again, he's my best first pick, especially if he's not banned. This is actually kind of like a mirror matchup right now. We have X and Era versus X Era, but only the goalies are a little different. So that's fine. I'm going to be doing my job. I'm going to walk my way slowly towards the enemy Dubu. See, look at that. You force an ult already. That's already a good sign. Unfortunately, not able to knock out Era. My Kai makes some great saves there, but once the ball gets in my direction, we're going to be good to go because, like, Dubu no ult, so once it gets here, we should be able to get at least a good scoring opportunity. That wasn't the best one because the ball, I was like 2v1 there, but you can't really win the strike wars that way if the ball's already coming back towards you. You can only win it if it's going towards the net already. So a little different from the scenarios we saw before. I have to be careful about getting knocked out there in case Dubu got his ultimate back, but great saves by my goalie so far. I feel like my Era should be able to clear, but I need to help them out again. Dubu ults again. Ah, no. That's a really unfortunate point. There's not much you can do in these cases because I'm in this situation a lot where I'm on their goalie, and if it ever gets cleared, we have a very high chance of scoring because they have no cooldowns because they wasted on me. But if your team can't clear, it's very difficult to like you can't do anything, you know? It's like it's not on your turf, you know? But I do a bit of an early ult there. We get a knockout, so hopefully we can make something here. So Era makes a mistake there. Since I have no abilities, I should walk towards the ball there, and she should walk towards the center in order to create a goal scoring opportunity so I could pass to her or shoot. And that is a pretty big misplay there. I could go to the center after seeing her go. It is arguable, but I have like no ability, so if she passes it to me, the only thing I could do is shoot, which doesn't make sense, right? But we get a quick knockout there. Again, hopefully, this happened last time, and I had my ults. That should be an easy goal. And bada bing, bada boom. We're back in the game, 2-1. Not the end of the world, but not the best, considering like we should have. Probably should be 2-1 right now because we should have scored the last point. All right, on the way there, we don't get an easy knockout this time, so we have to earn the point a little more. Great Era ult. See, I give her props when it's due. Dubu's used a lot of his abilities. He does have his ultimate. He uses it right there. This Dubu burns his cooldowns like a candle in a flame or something like that. So that's just abuse town right there. He gets knocked out. If we don't score here, I'm going to cry. But we do. Thank God. And again, Dubu's without cooldowns. Like, he used his ult. He used his W pretty early there. And once my ult was ready, it's just pound town, just try to knock him away from the goal. Notice how I don't try to knock him out into his goal zone. Sometimes I do that if they're like very close to the edge, but if they're trying to run from you, knock them out of the defensive zone. Not only does that make it harder for them to make saves, but if you get them out of there, you could like remove their defensive bonuses. And their Dubu definitely dropped the ball there. I don't know if y'all noticed, but X's primary ability knocked it back into their goal, and none of their teammates were ready for it. So I guess it's actually their whole team's fault because X shouldn't own goal, and the other people, the ball went right by them. I do that all the time on X too. I shouldn't be too harsh on him, but we don't have our ultimate yet. If we did, that would have been a clear goal. So I'm just going to work on just hitting my abilities and just standing in front of their goalie. See, look at that. I do not have my ultimate. He's getting so pissed off from me. He's using all his abilities left and right. And all you have to do is stand there. So if he uses his log on you, I think it's called Bamboozle. That's his primary ability. He's not going to be able to use it for saving the ball. And notice the goal we just had here. Again, it's what I talked about earlier. You don't have to knock him into the knockout zone in the goal area. You can just knock him away from the goal so it's harder to make a save. And that's exactly what happened there. That's what I try to do pretty often when I have my X ult and they're like off to the side of it. So if they're off to the side, you do that. If they're near the edge, you try to knock them into the goal. If they're kind of in the center, well, maybe you should not use your ultimate yet, or wait for the ball to get into a certain position that puts him in those places. So Dubu tried to ult me. He tried to use all his abilities on me. So if the ball gets past their two people, so if they win the 2v2, we just automatically get a goal. Unfortunately, they do not. But that's part of the game when you're playing like turbo forward. It's going to happen where there are no clears. It's not necessarily your team's fault, because I don't expect them to win all the time, right? Like that would just me getting carried. But yeah, that's really all there is to it. We get a good knockout there. Kai's not the best deflector. I should have scored there, but luckily Era makes up for my fault. And 5-3 win. Pretty good overall. So this game, our goalie definitely made more saves. I'll add that to the score counter. Not gonna say my Era was bad. I just think that theirs was better, because when X is constantly on my Kai and I'm constantly on their Dubu, it's essentially a 1v1, right? And whoever gets the ball in a certain direction, they're gonna be scoring, because essentially the goalies, both of them are taken out of the game. But yeah, I guess good on the Kai for kind of just blocking everything. We're gonna lock in X again. We're running like X, Asher, Kai, so very bloody match here. Some people argue like, oh, you should pull back a bit when your team's losing the 2v2, and sometimes it is the correct call. I'm not saying it's never the correct call, but if you do that, you have to be very careful, because a lot of times, great knockout by Luna there, just complete idiocy by me. A lot of times, if you pull back when you're playing X, once the ball does eventually go to their goalie, you're not going to be able to score because their Dubu is going to have full cooldown. So it's like a catch-22, you know, like damned if you do, damned if you don't. But there's no way this Dubu is at the right level, right? I can't be the only one who thinks that. Maybe everyone makes mistakes though. I got knocked out really easily, but as a goalie, I'd rather have a consistent goalie than a hyphy goalie, you know. I'd rather them just make all the easy saves and then let in all the hard goals, you know. But versus someone who makes a lot of like epic saves, but and lets in some soft goals. You get a good knockout on the air there. I should have knocked her out one punch earlier, but it's not the end of the world. So whenever you're playing against Luna, you may have seen me do it already. I try to stand between her and the puck because if you do, like, she just can't shoot her projectile or do a dash, and yeah, it essentially makes her useless, and then unless the ball gets directly at her. Very good Era ult there. I probably should have scored earlier. All I did was really take an orb, but I didn't really have the right timings for that, I think. So my bad for getting knocked out earlier, and I probably could have applied more pressure onto their Dubu when the ball was in their zone. But I don't get a lot of these deflection angles from my team. Maybe I'm just not used to it. But we get Dubu ult there, trying to stand between Luna and the puck. But good goal there. I'm not even sure what happened, but essentially it's just a 1v1 between Kai and Dubu. One of their players probably should have fell back a bit, because I feel like that shouldn't have scored. Alright, so I'm going to walk kind of... You have to dodge the Era primary whenever you play X. It's probably the most, like, counter, or like the biggest counter to X. Whenever you're playing him, it's like just getting hit by Era's primary. So we force out a Dubu ult somehow. We also have this Luna on us. We're gonna get the speed, or sorry, the heal orb there. I'm gonna play it up now because Dubu doesn't have ultimate. I mistimed my strike. We definitely should have scored there, so that is my bad. I mistimed it again. There are two opportunities in the same play where we could have scored, and did not do that. So, you know, I always like to point out my own mistakes too. A lot of people just say, like, they just like to blame their teammates the whole time, but like, I honestly should have scored there and there. Like, holy cow, I missed 3 scoring opportunities here. So luckily we're able to like still get the point, but in a lot of other games where when you're facing better players, it's gonna be, you don't get those chances that often, you know. Dubu starts off with a bamboozle at the start, so I know that's not up for him there, so he just has his W, which he uses. So if I make a mistake here, I should have just stood on the Dubu after that, because he was about to like either ult me or just like run around into the wrong direction trying to avoid me. I pulled back, and that's a big mistake there. Again, Kai is carrying me right now, so my mistakes are kind of being shielded. What is this Dubu doing? I know the gates were down, but like, I don't know what he gained from doing that. Right. I don't get a good angle cut off there. Unfortunate shot by the Luna. I feel like she should have scored there. And right now I'm making the mistake. Me and Kai are both just chasing the ball. I should just let him chase the ball and just be in open areas for me. Because, yeah, if we're both in the same spot, it goes for like any ball sport. You just never want to be in the same spot. That's why in soccer we have positions such as defense, midfield, and forward. It's literally there just so you are like split up on the field, or in this case we call it the map in gaming, you know. But same exact thing applies to Omega Strikers as it does in hockey, as it does in soccer, as it does in literally any sport that involves balls and scoring. We let in a goal there. Not the end of the world. We should have won this point, but it happens, you know. All right, I'm just gonna, I think now I should just focus more on, maybe I should focus more on the Luna, and then right after she burns some abilities, just go straight to the Dubu, because their Dubu is definitely the weak spot on their team.
That wasn't very cash money of you.
But it's my bad in the beginning points for miscommunicating with Kai. Obviously, like, I'm not in voice chat for any of these. I'm like just doing solo queue. I actually found that it's better to solo queue than play with your friends, which is a little unfortunate, because whenever I play with my friends, we face like a lot of smurfs and stuff like that. And yeah, it's not even that they're very coordinated. They just have like one really good player that just carries the entire team. And it's hard to deal with that. But whenever I play solo, like I feel like I'm just so much better than the people I play with, which is why I'm climbing, right? Like I'm not saying that to be cocky, but when you climb, you are generally better than the people you play with. If I wasn't climbing, then that's another thing, you know? Then I would be worse, or if I'm hard stuck, I'd be the same. But we let in a couple goals there, which is really unfortunate because I was about to apply like so much pressure to the Dubu. I'm not really sure what changed. I think the Luna is just hitting us super, super hard right now. We both get hit by the Era. Again, if like, ow, if we communicated better at the beginning of the game, me and the Kai, we would have won this already. I mean, wouldn't have never gotten to this point right now. But we both chased the ball. We're like a bunch of dogs, you know? And we should have just like split up, you know? I should have let him go to the ball though, that's for sure. Because if we both have cooldowns up, I should just be bothering their goalie. Because he's a lot faster than me and he is a bit more range. So he's more of like the playmaker, you know? Let's, man, horrible hit there. I'm focused on the Era. I feel like that's a mistake here, even if I knock her out. I feel like there are more important targets to get. It's not that Era's not important, it's just the way this game's playing out. She's harder to harass because she has her primary ability, which makes me smaller. And she also has a speed boost. Score gets tied 5-5. I got knocked out, so I can't complain about anything, right? The Dubu definitely needs to be abused. Was this the game where he let in that really easy goal at the start? I think it is. I really need to just dodge the Era at the start. Okay, there I am. I ulted. A bit of a waste. I didn't get that many hits off. I really should be saving it for Dubu or Luna. It's just like, I split my time there, and that's never what you want to do on X. It's good to get AoE hits, but if I like hit one person solo once and then hit another solo like twice or something like that, it's definitely not worth it. We get like we almost scored there. But we do force Dubu's ult, so we should be able to score on this point. Somehow we don't, so that's really depressing. And our team gets knocked out, so definitely should have scored there. I think again we just mistimed everything, and then Asher throws her ult, which you can't do that. Just walk to the ball, you know? To be honest though, Asher's been doing like decently most of the game, I'd say. Like, you can't expect them to save everything, right? A lot of people think like, oh, like my goalie can't let in any soft goals. I give them one soft goal to let in, but that really, really sucks. That felt bad. That person got diamond from this game, all because we didn't win in the early game, and then we had like a bunch of miscommunication errors.
This game really tilted me though, because if we won this, we would have gotten diamond, and this would have been a 30-minute video. Instead, it's going to be a 2.5-hour video. We're literally up 4-1, and then our team just completely fell apart. It's okay, whatever. I'll pretend to forget about it, just like how everyone pretends to forget about their ex. But we're going to be locking in Juno this game, and hopefully we can climb back.
We're going to be taking the ultimate cooldown again. That's probably just my default rune page, so if I don't need anything that special, that's going to be my go-to for Juno. But we're going to be playing midfield again, or like a little bit more back. I don't know what the official names are called. Has there actually been an official naming convention? I kind of tried to cover it in the position explain video, but I don't know if that's like the term that everyone's using, you know, because we're just like one person on this planet, or I guess me and my friends were like 3 people, right? But just because we say it doesn't mean like everyone's gonna say it. We have a lot of slangs in this game as well. For example, we call strike wars like Dubuing people, because it's just like Dubu's large and he's just like trying to outstrike people when it's like near the goal. But we're playing back a bit. Always play around like this square that we're in, or this rectangle that we're in, or the one that's like more on their side of the field, depending where the ball is. It's just like a great place to be because you're essentially playing goalie, but your goal is like the width of the map. And you just try to not let the ball get on your side of the map, because that's how you let up scoring opportunities. Gonna deflect upward there because the 2 enemy forwards were down just now. Gonna try to dodge the arrow upwards again. I probably could have done any direction there, but we got it towards our Dubu, so that's good. We got it, sliced it right between them, but unfortunately Asher was a little far. Their Dubu did a really good play there. Notice how he walked backwards? Uh-oh. But he walked backwards to make the save all the way at his net so that he wouldn't have to...
Hello again, everyone.
Wow, I'm sorry. I'm amazed at how the Kai defended that. It was more so the enemy forwards messing up because they just like missed all their shots. They hit the banks instead, but like great defense by Kai regardless. But yeah, if Dubu went up front to make the save there, our Asher would have been able to counter-strike him right away. And this goal is my fault. Some people would blame their goalie for this one, but I was in a strike war with Juliet, and you just gotta win those, you know? So always wait for them to strike first before striking if you can afford to. But I'd normally start off the rounds with my projectile, as you guys have been noticing. How does that not go in? Like, I need to play, like, shoot the ball more upwards this game, because it seems like they're playing down there. This one down is fine. That one, I'm expected to lose a strike war because the ball was already heading in our direction, so they just outplayed us there. I could have played a little more back there, and maybe I could have helped save the ball, but it would have been tough regardless. The Era had a really good ultimate. Oh, it's the same Dubu from last game on the other team. Wait, it's kind of like the same people overall. Interesting. We get the health pack there, nice. Whoa, what happened to my teammate? I didn't even see her get knocked out. Juliet must have just had a combo there. We just missed a goal, like barely there, which is really unfortunate because we are behind right now. But I get knocked out, not very good. Luckily, our Kai is actually kind of smurfing this game. Holy cow, I almost just spawned and died again. Good save by him. I probably should have gotten to that ball. Oh, God. Good save there. We have to play goalie now. And if I went upwards, or sorry, to the right and up a little bit instead of to the up and left, we would have made the save there, I think. But I don't really play goalie, so I always suck in those scenarios. I really hate it, but I'm better at playing midfield, even though the goal is bigger, because I'm allowed to make a few more mistakes. That's why I've been liking Estelle a lot, because she's a big playmaker in certain situations, but she's not like that consistent. She has to wait for all her cooldowns and make like big hyphy one-time plays rather than just like not making mistakes, you know? But just because we're down 3-0 doesn't mean like we automatically lose. This Juliet is getting a little annoying, but I think if we just play up a little more, like not up front, but top of the map, I think they'll be a bit better, because it seems like they're favoring the bottom a lot, so if we clear towards that area, it'll just be a lot easier to play. We get a nice shot there, projectile hit the thing, but we only have 12 seconds left, so I guess we do lose this one. If you ever are in this situation, you have to play up as a goalie, so we're going to pull our goalie right now and just try to make as much chaos happen as possible. So I'm going to ult, try to go up, try to jump in their face. I saved my jump for some reason. I don't know why. That was a bit of a mistake by me. It somehow gets past the Dubu wall, and we almost get in. I actually think it got past the Dubu right there, but just at a time. If I was a little more aggressive with my jump earlier on, maybe we could have made it work.
So, when's the next game?
Oh, that's really frustrating, especially since, like, this is the time to climb, you know? So 25 saves versus 29, so according to that stat, we did not do a good job as forwards. Let's go into this next game. We have X. We're doing the same exact rune page. This time we have an Era, so Era always really good in this combination. We're going to start off the fight. I'm going to run towards their X, try to duel him a bit. It's actually like kind of a mirror matchup again. I'm going to try to hit 2. It's a little risky going into their goal because they get defensive bonuses there. But if I'm hitting 2 units, that's perfectly fine because it's double the effectiveness, right? So even though I am not hitting them as hard, I'm going to get hit harder. It's fine to kind of have that trade-off whenever you're hitting more than one person. Generally, whenever I can, I always ult. It's just like, against better players, they tend to split up a little more. If you guys want like some tips on like how to avoid that, like a lot of them are covered in my like how to play forwards, or sorry, like common forward mistakes and common goalie mistake videos that I do. And pretty much in all of those, I tell you to spread out because it's just that important in this game. Imagine if you're watching like a professional soccer or football game, whichever depends which country you're from on how you call it, right? And then like everyone's just sitting in the same spot chasing the ball. Like that doesn't happen, right? So same exact thing in Omega Strikers. It's essentially you're playing air hockey, right? So just spread out, you know. A great goal there. We're able to get a double hit at the end there and then just knock the ball in after Dubu tries to save it, you know. Not too much scientific analysis there. You are, at the end of the day, just charging at their goal and whacking them. A lot of these X duels, it's really important right when the round starts to try to hit your right click. Or some people bind it to, I believe, I think it's E is the primary ability. Whatever the spin attack is. It's kind of like a game of chicken. Whoever like does it first or like runs away first, or doesn't run away, it's like very hard to do. Also notice there, I know the enemy team gave up, but you may have noticed I just hid in the top left corner when I got to low health. And this is a nice little trick that you can do if you're about to die, because you're not going to be contributing anything to the team if you die and have to wait for the respawn anyways. So you might as well just kind of sit in the corner and just pray that you don't get knocked out, because it's very hard to knock someone out when they're standing in one of those corners. But easy win there. Their goalie griefed them at the end, so honestly, like, yeah, pretty free win. Let's check the saves. 5 saves to 2 saves. So we definitely got the better end of that stick there. My teammate's playing X this time, so I'll lock in Juno. What I like about X is that you could pretty much play anyone with him. I like typically the ball controllers, or like something like Juno, something like Era. The buffers are pretty good. Who else? I think Amy's pretty good with him, and maybe Estelle's pretty good too. Almost anyone works with him because he's just gonna sit up front in their goal. So as long as you have someone who could play kind of like midfieldish, I think like Kai's actually pretty underrated for that type of role. You're gonna be in a great spot. But we're gonna be playing a little differently because obviously we're playing a different champion. I'm gonna be playing in the back and kind of be playing kind of second goalie right now. So I'm sitting towards like my side of the field and I'm just shooting my bullets or my projectiles at the ball before they can even get to my goalie. Sometimes I miss and they get a few shots there, but you do also have to be careful of getting X. So my goalie honestly has no excuse there, I think, because their X didn't hit him once. Like the Estelle even missed her projectile, but Dubu deflected the ball right back into her, which allowed her to get a second shot off. So he essentially gave her a free rebound, and not very kosher if you're trying to win a game of Omega Strikers, you know. I messed up some strikes there, so if they scored there, that would have been my fault. Luckily they didn't, and were able to clear the ball, kind of do a reset until my X pushed it back into our goal, or towards our side of the field, so that's really bad. That's a good clear by Dubu. But yeah, another goalie guide thing is don't knock the ball right back into the enemy forward who just shot at you. You have to deflect it in like weird angles so that it either gets cleared or just buys time for your cooldowns to come back up. But nice, we get the health pot there. I'm playing a little more aggressively because the two X's are just kind of fighting each other. I definitely don't like facing X's as Juno because I feel like she's really weak against all the brawly types of players. I typically tend to go a different rune page whenever I play against him, but this game I wasn't able to get it off. I think I just forgot to. Normally I like doing creator of large things and creator of durable things just so my projectiles do a little more damage, so whenever I ult or use my projectile, it just like deters him a little bit more than it normally would. But I'm using extra special right now, which is, it's good too. I'm not saying you can't win against them with extra special. In fact, most people do take extra special with Juno, but I don't know what it is. No one does creator of durable things and creator of large things on Juno, like very few people do, at least from what I've seen. And whenever I use it though, I just win a lot more. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe it's just a coincidence, but I just feel like it's a pretty strong rune page. And yeah, I mean, like when the way I play her, especially, like playstyle matters too, right? Come on, dude, you just have to strike it. You don't have to ult that. But yeah, a lot of things are just playstyle preferences. So as long as you play towards the strengths of your trainings, no matter what you take, it's going to be fine, right? Because every training you take, like, you're going to have to adjust a little bit. So if you're doing, like, extra special, you have to play around the ultimate. If you're mainly a projectile player, then, like, yeah, you might want to buff your projectiles. Maybe I even take, like, prime time or something, too, you know? Lots of different options there. I probably could have deflected the ball better towards the goal there and then used my projectile to kind of shoot it in. I do mess up a little bit there. A lot of times it's hard to play the exact angles. Again, I'm not the most mechanically gifted player. I am one of the least mechanically gifted players, actually. So Omega Strikers, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for me. And I don't know about you guys. If you guys are mechanically gifted, maybe you need to work more on the strategic aspect. If you're like me and you're not good at winning strike wars, you're not good at doing really cool combos with Estelle, for example, or Kai, you have to rely more on strategic play rather than just outplaying people, you know? Me and my friends joke, it's like, oh, they right-clicked better than me, you know? But sometimes you could use your brain a little bit too. Oh no, that should have gone in. The ball got, like, we struck it and hit it with my projectile at the same time, so it kind of had a weird interaction there. But we do get a nice goal there, up 3-2. My ex is doing, like, a pretty decent job, I'd say. Dubu doing all right. He let in 2 soft goals, but, you know, he's made some other good saves as well, so I can't really fault him this game, you know. A lot of people, they only remember the times when the goalie lets in a soft goal, but they don't remember the times where he kind of clutches it. I think that time I used my strike to hit that in. A lot of people don't know this about Juno, but you could redirect the ball with your blobs. It doesn't always go towards the enemy goal. So you could just strike in any direction, and your blob, just pretend it's like another one of your characters, and that's the direction it's going to be shot in. You just have to be careful when doing this, because honestly, like, when I first learned about this, I realized you can't actually deflect it that much, because whenever you use your strike goes on cooldown. So you have to be very careful whenever you're just trying to randomly strike using your blob, because you might need the cooldown for something else, or maybe for your second blob that's kind of already there. So a lot of little tricky things there. Luckily, their goalie pulled because the time was running out, so we get a nice goal there and win the game. So pretty good comeback here. I think we were down like 1-0 or maybe 2-1, and I think we brought it back somehow. So for the saves, we had 36 to 18, and we're at 74 LP right now. Everyone's hovering X in my game, so I guess I can't go X. I probably will just play another Juno game just because of that. I'm using extra special again. That's just because they don't really have like a direct car or an X to really bother me. It's really only Asher, but Asher's easier to get away from than the other people we talked about. Like, yeah, when she ults, you just jump, and that's pretty much all you need to do. The start, not that great. I don't know if you guys noticed, me and X are both trying to be core whores. We're just running at the ball. Luckily, he changed now, and he's playing the player now. So, oh my god, like, we have to spread out. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts. In terms of, like, spreading out in... How do I explain this? Like, whoever's there first has the rights to that area, you know? Like, there's no set rule, I guess, unless you want, like, a very specific matchup. But if you see your teammates somewhere and you're like, oh, the ball's there too, you have to trust them, you know? You can't just walk there too and try to, like, solo play, right? Like, yeah, it might work out in some plays if your teammate messes up, but you're not going to win if you're essentially in a 2v3. So playing as if you're like a core whore or something like that, which is how I'm going to coin the term, it's like, it might work in some instances, but in the long run, it's just like a losing play, because it's like you're just playing as if you're 2v3 instead of just 3v3. Like, I get it. Like, some people make mistakes. Like, I make mistakes. My teammates make mistakes. But so do the opposing teams, because they're in the same exact rating as you, or most of the time at least. So that just means that they're going to be making just as many mistakes. And if you are better than them, over the long run, they're going to be making more than you are. But yeah, that's besides the point, I guess. We get a nice goal there. Ah, man, this Asher's a little annoying. This Estelle's scary. So the trick to beating Estelle, a lot of goalies don't know how to deal with Estelle. That goal was a little cheesy, whatever. But normally Estelle gets goals by shooting the puck with her kick and then using her ultimate or her projectile, her primary ability, to hit the goalie and the ball at the same time, or to hit the ball right after the goalie deflects the ball. And people are like, oh, how do I save that? There's not much I can do. And in those situations, it is true. There's not much you can do against that. But the way to beat Estelle is make her use her cooldowns before the ball is shot on goal. So you may have noticed here, when she's in her area, she's using her ult, and she's sometimes using her primary ability to clear the ball rather than to score a goal. So that's how you kind of prevent Estelle from scoring all the time. I guess it's like a fun little counter or trick you can kind of think about. So this goal, completely my fault because I got knocked out. But, you know, I make mistakes too, right?
One of the biggest troubles with Juno is getting knocked out, but it is what it is, right? Oh no, X is AFK for a bit, and we both get hit by Asher. Always spread out so you don't get both hit. There, Estelle kind of missed her shots. I missed my strike there too. I should have been playing back a bit more for the past like 5 to 10 seconds, but you know, just business as usual. And then for some reason here, my blob knocked it back towards our side of the net. I have no idea what caused that because I didn't strike at all. So I think I literally got scored on because of a bug. Juno orbs are weird, man. Like, I swear to you, like I wasn't striking. I watched the replay and it just defaulted to go back to us. And Kai didn't shoot anything, but luckily we get a quick goal back there. So it's not the end of the world at all. But man, really frustrating to lose to kind of like a bug. Whatever, new point. You always gotta shake it off whenever you're in game. I'm gonna do the same thing at the start again, drop my special, throw some orbs out. Not really striking too much, which is fine. I should have played upwards there, let my goalie handle that. And yeah, I see the Asher at the top before the X went on her, and I blocked the passing lane so the ball can never get past to her. That's another way to play defense. You don't always have to like play the ball. You can just play whoever the open man is. I had a bad clear there. I knocked it right at Asher. I should have knocked it bottom right instead. I put it top left where Asher was. But it's okay. We get the clears out. I'm a little low, so I have to be a little careful. Luckily, Asher, when she doesn't have her ult, like she still can knock you out, but it's not like she's an X or something like that. But here I am. God, you gotta get those. But here, to be fair, I could have blocked it too, but it's the goalie's job to always be the final line of defense because the height of the board where I'm at is slightly longer than the goal, so it's obviously going to be harder for me to save balls in those locations. Oh, jeez. Like, that's just embarrassing, right? Like, did he purposely let that in? I'm not sure. Overall, even though I think we should have won this game, we got a -19. It's whatever. I should have positioned better. I know it's like easy to say just like, oh, position better. But what I mean by that is I could have cut off more angles. We had that weird own goal as well. So there definitely were a lot of things we could have worked on this game instead. If I remember correctly, this patch, Juno wasn't actually that great of a champion, but you know, you always have to stick to your comfort picks because if you don't know what you're doing on a certain champion, it's going to be very, very tough if you just first time someone else. And again, my champion pool at this point in the game was pretty much just Juno and X and some Estelle, some Luna, but again, Luna from switching from MOBA to WASD made her so much more difficult to play, especially because of her jump. Her jump is so easy to control on a mouse. I did the massive blob start, which was nice. And they actually have a forward Dugu. They're playing 3 goalies. And their Asher is just double hitting my team. This is a game where I'm very frustrated because this Estelle should be playing further up. She should be scoring that goal, not me. Because think about it for a moment. Juno's projectile, she shoots the ball normally, and then as the goalie's trying to save it, you throw out your primary ability, which is the blob, right? And it can hit, right? But the radius is so small. You'd rather have an Estelle going there and using her ultimate, which is also a low cooldown, or using her primary ability too, which also hits the goalie. So it's just a much better goal scoring ability. So that's why Estelle's better than Juno when played further up. I wouldn't say you want to play Estelle up front like how I play X. That's way too aggressive for an Estelle. But maybe somewhere in this quadrant where I am right now on Juno. So I'm going to play Juno the same way. Again, I can't do X things, so I'm just going to stay around there to try to get some goal scoring opportunities. That was a terrible jump by the Estelle. I'm sorry for full blaming the Estelle at this point, but you can't jump like that and let the ball kept past you because then you have no way of helping our goalie, and coincidentally they scored. Was the goal a little soft? Maybe, maybe not, but I can't fault the Dubu there because the ball just should have never been in that place for him to try to make the save. Again, there, that shot should be taken by Estelle. Instead, I took it, and now we're just both in the same spot, so it's very bad team coordination by us. This is when it helps to play with your friends, because you can decide like, oh, you go up, I go top, you go bottom, things like that. And, oh, maybe like you chase the ball that time, or I chase the ball this time. With randoms, it's tough to say because I wouldn't say she's playing like, she might not even be playing incorrectly, you know, it just might be a clash of styles between me and her and like philosophies on the game. Like this happens in every game, right? Like in League of Legends, like I play League of Legends, some people like to split push and some people like to team fight, and you know, both styles can work, but if you're trying to conflict between them, it's just not a good recipe for a team game. But, ah man, this was really rough. She got knocked out. Again, I'm blaming her still because clearly our philosophies on how to play the game are just completely different. Also, you might have noticed at the start we both shot out our projectile. If you notice your teammate constantly shooting their projectile at the start of the round, which is fine, right? Just don't shoot yours because, like, someone is gonna... How is this point my fault, guys? Like, I don't want to blame the team too much, but like they both got knocked out. Like, come on, man. The ball wasn't even near them, so it happens, you know. These games happen. But whoever has the higher priority spell should be the one who throws things out if you're on a team. But if you're not on a team,
Let's go.
jeez, they just Zergarded that. Just let your teammate do it. So I think the best ability to start off a fight is going to be Estelle's primary ability because it's a very fast shot. Juno's orbs are a little slower. Maybe Kai can shoot one out at the start too. Sometimes you let your Dubu throw his projectile out and then you just let the ball sit there because Dubu is kind of out of range to hit it most of the time when he's a goalie. I mistimed my primary there. I don't think I should have scored, but it definitely could have made a better scoring opportunity than what I had there. I'm trying to time it and somehow get it. Okay, that's very good. That's on the goalie. The goalie should be able to save that. They should see the blob coming out, wait a little bit, and then once the blob is like set, you could deflect it directly downwards or directly upwards, and then it just won't hit the blob on the like return hit or whatever. Fortunately for this Kai though, like his team's completely destroying mine, and we are not equipped to deal with Dubu and Asher apparently. I swear if just Estelle played up and I played back, this game would be a lot different. But, you know, you have to adapt to your teammates. I saw her playing back, so that means you have to go up front. Not the ideal thing for the character I'm playing, but, you know, every champion can be played in every role. I mean, just look at the redirects here. The Estelle had 31 when she was playing back. The person playing back always has the most redirects. On average, at least, you know. Frustrating. I'm gonna do Juno again. X was banned, you know, and we have a Juliet anyway, so we have a fighter who can play up front, so I'm gonna play in the back. This person knows her role. She walks up. That's fine. She did lose a fight, but honestly, against Estelle and another Juliet, it's hard to kind of win that. I almost got knocked out there. I have to be very careful against the wall against both Estelle and Juliet. And I almost scored there at the very beginning. I played with my blob slot. Look at the patience on that Dubu. He almost made such a good save. He waited for Estelle to throw out her stuff before actually kicking the ball. He almost made it work. So I like the effort from this Dubu, even though the goal got let in, because that was just like, you want your goalie to try to make those like hyphy saves, you know? I need to prevent that situation from even happening by making Estelle, man, that's the goal that I'd missed. By making Estelle use her abilities before the ball gets towards our net. Again, that's like the common way to counter Estelle. A lot of people, or like block her. I could have blocked that projectile, so that one's probably on me. See, I admit my faults too. I wish this Estelle played like that on my team before, but it is what it is. Alright, gonna start out with the ultimate again. When the gates are down, I tend to like to start out with the ultimate because you could actually kind of create some good goal scoring opportunities. Silly mistake standing near the edge. Don't be an edgelord against Estelle and Juliet because it's just asking for trouble. But yeah, when the game begins and the gates are like pretty wide open, you could go ahead and throw your ultimate. If they're not, I would try to save it. And me and this Juliet need to split up a little bit because we both got hit by the Juliet ult, which obviously hurts a ton. I threw my orb up and tried to kick it, but I got CC'd, so I couldn't actually make my play work. My orb expired. No, so close to a goal. Literally a fraction of a second off. Great save by my Dubu. My Dubu's actually, like, I'd say he's doing pretty well right now. He's making some, like, a lot of the shots, there might not be that many shots, but he's making, like, the shots are, like, very high chance to score, and he's blocking a lot of them. That one, I was not patient enough with my kick, and again, another goal my fault. So really not playing that well this game. It's tough sometimes, you know. Yeah, these games are going to happen. Their Juliet is actually just like completely smurfing on us. She's double hitting us. We're not spreading out properly. And the way to like avoid that or to punish people like what this Juliet is doing is you don't have to just spam your abilities on cooldown. She's only using them, well, at least in the early part of the game, she only used them when we were both together and she could get a double hit. Now that it's late in the game and she's higher level than us, she could go ahead and just knock one of us out really easily. So it's a little bit different on how she adapts her play as the game goes on. So I think like we do have something to learn from the enemy Juliet, even though we're down 4-0, you know, and probably gonna lose this game. Which really sucks because I feel like my Dubu was very good. So whenever you do have a good goalie, it feels really bad not to win those games. 2 of the goals I think were my fault. I could have blocked them, but yes, I won't name who is not helping. At least we get to see the Estelle outro screen, you know, that's always enjoyable, right? They're actually coming out with a Nurse Estelle skin. Oh my god, we're at 12 LP now. We are really low. We were so close to just hitting Diamond and calling it a day, and now we're back in Elo Dumpster. I'm going to lock in Estelle this time. X is constantly banned, and since I have an Era, I don't want to play Juno, because Juno does the same thing as Era, you just play in the back. So I need to play in the front. I don't know how to play Juliet, so Estelle it is. Probably play a lot more Estelle in the future, because I've gotten so much better at her compared to when these games were recorded, because Luna got shafted, right? And, well, she didn't get shafted, but me switching to WASD made her get shafted. So I had to pick up a new character, and that happened to be Estelle, especially since X got nerfed a little bit. So X is still good, though. I still win a lot of games on him, but I did need to, like, develop a new champion. I need to head up. I'm kind of making the same mistake as before, where I was mad at my Estelle for playing, like, kind of back. But this game just developed very weirdly. I should have scored there, mistimed my primary ability. And again, like, I would hit those now. But when you're learning a new character, it's going to be a little trickier. And I'm really only playing her because X is just constantly banned during this play session, which I guess sometimes that happens. We make some good saves there with our Dubu. I missed the orb, but oh my god. It's okay. It's okay. Not the end of the world. I think what I should do is just walk all the way to the right at the start to kind of establish where I'm going to be. Because this Era walks up a lot, and then it's like, is she playing up or is she playing back? I can't really tell. Some Eras, they like to camp the goalie and just load up a big ultimate whenever the ball's coming towards the enemy goal, and it works out a lot. So close on getting a short-handed goal there, but we're going to try to deflect it out. Make pretty good saves. You know, anyone else try Estelle goalie? Maybe it could work. Maybe it could work. Okay, I shoot and jump, and that should be a goal. Nice. You know, I don't even remember this game, but it's just such an easy opportunity to score with Estelle there that I'm glad that I kind of took it, right? You always have to look out for those opportunities, because I really think there's no better goal scorer than Estelle, because all 3 of her abilities are just so punishing if they're just trying to strike the ball back. They have to use abilities in order to block you. So jump. I missed the... I should have scored there. So I missed the jump, and then I threw my ultimate too late. If I threw it right away, that's an easy goal. It would have scored exactly how their Estelle scored on us just now. So that's points on me. It should be 2-1 in my favor right now, but instead it is not. But look what that Dubu's doing. I like that. Gates are up, so it's impossible to get scored on. He walks up aggressively and tries to get ball control into their zone, right? I mess up there. Should not have jumped like that. Good hit by their Kai. He kind of did a very nice clear there. We're getting shot up a bit. We're getting a little low. I should deflect it upwards against the wall instead of directly back at Aristel. I missed my ultimate. Oh, Era almost messed that up, but she clutched it at the very end. Great corner shots by her. She really like painted the outside of the goal there. I felt like she could have scored it easier, but you know what? She made the play. It's probably more guaranteed the way she did it, but it's just like more prone for errors, and I don't like risking errors, you know? Good ult by the Dubu. I should not have used my primary there. I should have just hit it normally. And downwards. Ah, I mistimed that. That should not have gotten past me. Ooh, Era's ultimate actually, like their Era's ultimate actually helped us out there. You get the power up. Jump. Nope, I don't jump there. I probably should have. Jump. Nice. Beautiful.
My style was never in doubt.
Could have scored that earlier, but it's really... Man, I love Estelle. She's just so fast-paced, and there's not much you could do to stop her sometimes, especially as a Kai goalie. Kai doesn't have the best... Like, Kai's a very good goalie. I'm not saying he's not. But compare him to Dubu for, like, high bursty, like, epic save situations. He's not going to be as good. What Kai excels at is not letting the ball even get to, like, a good scoring opportunity. Because he has a lot of speed, he has a lot of range, and his projectiles just prevent those like really high percentage goal scoring opportunities from even happening. So when you do get into those situations with or against a Kai as an Estelle, like you pretty much are going to score all the time there. A little bit of a risky jump. It means I won't have it for scoring a goal, so kind of sucks there. It was a very defensive kind of jump, and yeah, we just get completely outnumbered there. It's a little unfortunate. I wish I could be playing up more, but this era likes playing up a lot, so I have to adjust my playstyle a little bit. Again, you always have to adjust based on what your team is doing. It's not ideal, but what can you do, you know? There's no like voice chat. I probably don't even want voice chat in this game, honestly. But maybe just some emotes that say like, hey, play up or play down. Or I got the top side, you got the bot side. Like, I would have just picked Juno had I known that she would play like this. So I guess actually they need a little bit of communication in champ select, now that I put it that way. Because with Juno, I can just get the ball into the offensive zone much more easily. Oh, I got this guy platinum. That's how far we've fallen. We're playing with like gold players now because we lost so many in a row. It's okay. Yeah, Dubu was actually, I wouldn't say he was great, but he was not bad, right? But yeah, 39 saves to 15. Holy cow, we got destroyed there. Honestly though, the problem was like you just can't play Era up. Like I scored 2 goals, she scored 3. Like what is she doing then? Because like my character's just much better at scoring goals than her, so the role should just be swapped. But X is finally not banned, so we're gonna insta-lock him, and it's actually an X mirror. X Luna mirror. Okay, but their Luna's a forward Luna. I always get nervous whenever I have a Luna goalie. Not that they're like bad, it's just very difficult to play. So I went for the KO there. I could have also went for a multi-hit. So, oh my god, you guys got 2v1'd. Ooh, calm down. Calm down. It's okay. It's not okay. Yeah, like this stuff happens when you play, right? Like, sometimes you could clutch it and then it just doesn't matter. Oh, their Luna did a good job dodging us, and we're in trouble now because we're in their defensive area and their X had ult, but he doesn't have cast to last, so his ultimate did not last very long, but we just can just hide and try to heal up. Actually, I go aggressive. That's a little risky what I did there. I don't like that play at all. I should have just hid in my goal area and just chilled there because I kind of wasted my ultimate. I used the ultimate, then I got knocked back so far away from the enemy team that I couldn't really do anything. And yeah, that made me very useless. So right now I'm just waiting for my ultimate to come back up, and hopefully we could get this Luna. She's doing a good job, like... What is that? Like... This is what I mean about Luna goalies. They make me very, very nervous because they do stuff like that, and it's like, what could I have done? Like, I obviously misplayed that point, but I don't think it was to the point where or to the extent where it costs us a goal, you know? Like, maybe we lose some control. She makes up for it there with a good knockout. But are we can't even score! We can't even score! We had a 2v1 against a Luna. She's probably the worst person to 1v3 with. Okay, we get the point there finally. Like, we were probably waiting for our cooldowns to come back. There's no excuse, though. So normally when that happens, someone should be cherry picking at, like, bottom left. Like, kind of where their Luna is right now. Somewhere around there. Just sit around there, wait for a pass or a one-timer. Or just have your teammates score because the other person's busy kind of, like, covering that spot. We don't get any multi-hits there despite being really close to people, but great knockout onto the X. You know, I give props where it's due. I think the Luna got that, right? And yeah, so that's the advantage of having a Luna goalie. Even though she let in 2 incredibly soft goals that even a Luna goalie should be able to save, she does make up for it with getting some key knockouts, right? Okay, we dodged there. Good ultimate, multi-hit. Didn't get the heavy hit, but it's good enough. Oh, their Kai was very, very patient. He almost let that one in. But I have my ultimate in his net, so that's on me. That's on me. When I have my ultimate and the ball's going that way, that's on me again. So I missed 2 goal-scoring opportunities, but somehow that one goes in. Someone explain that to me. Man, all the astrologists in the world are going wild right now. But yeah, missed 2 goal opportunities that are very easy, but then this Trickler just gets by the Kai. One of the points Kai did deserve like a good save, like he made a very good play, but then I had 2 extra. Oh, I'm gonna get triple hit. No, just double. Pretty good though. Decent damage, and I accidentally knocked the ball in. Obviously, I should have just angled it to the bottom side of the goal, but I was busy punching people, so I knocked it top side by accident. You know, sometimes accidents happen, and sometimes accidents are a good thing. So yeah, interpret that however you will. Great ultimates. We get their X kind of low. Oh, we got knocked out. I have my ultimate in 3 seconds, so that's what I'm waiting for here. I have to be careful about popping it though, because I'm kind of low. I will get staggered really easily, but we get some good points there. And despite the nervousness in the beginning with letting in 2 extremely soft goals, we're able to bring it back. We had some good knockout potential because Estelle helps out in the X Luna mirror, whereas Kai doesn't help out as much. That we're about an hour in, let's take a quick look at the stats. Honestly, the save differential, much closer than I would have imagined. We're only 318 to 301. We're 8-6 so far. And goals for and goals against, pretty even as well. We are 0-1 on Luna, 3-4 on Juno, 4-1 on X, and 1-0 on Estelle. We're actually going to go ahead and play Estelle again in our next game. X was banned, and we're not doing that hot on Juno, so I wanted to mix it up a bit, maybe learn some Estelle. But we're going to start off the game, shoot the projectile as per usual. Great shot from... she just has a great projectile shot. Our teammate gets knocked out, so I should not have jumped there. Big mistake. I think I could have just walked there because no one else was near. That thing almost did so much damage to me, the Asher ultimate. But we're going to play up a bit. We had this same team before, I believe, with the Era and Estelle combo, but this time I get to play up. I waste my abilities there, complete nonsense, so I just have a harder time with scoring here. And at this point, I didn't actually know how Estelle's jump works. I always thought it was bugged because you see the range on it, and it's a pretty big circle around her for like her shot. But it doesn't hit everything in the range. Like, you have to read abilities, guys. And that is my bad because she targets the closest thing to her. So a lot of times, sometimes you think you can hit the ball, but there's a enemy that's closer by, and that makes it so that it doesn't work out that way. I do try to double shot, either for goals, obviously, or just hitting 2 people. I feel like hitting 2 people is perfectly fine. You don't need to have it up every time a goal opportunity is there, especially if you could just damage them and just relieve a lot of pressure like that. I'm playing horribly this game, though, so yeah, I'm wasting my jumps, wasting my projectiles. I probably missed like 3 ultimates and maybe like 5 primary abilities, so definitely not how you want to play so far, but you know, we have time to kind of recover, so it's not the end of the world there. We haven't really tested their goalie much, so we have a great opportunity to kind of try to do that. I missed the jump there. It's actually so close, and I get knocked out right afterwards. Drekar is so punishing, but we get a softie there, so we have to take advantage of this right now. That's definitely on their Kai, like, not gonna lie there. You just can't let those in. I'd be pissed if I was on the other team. But new point, gonna shoot to start as per usual. Gates are down, so I guess you don't have to do that. It's just something that everyone does. I don't know if it's actually even optimal now that I mention it. That jump, completely garbage. That shot, completely garbage. So again, I'm just wasting abilities. I wish Kai would clear downwards during that time because I was like pretty wide open there. But it's okay. That shot almost went in, almost scored a goal there. But nowadays, like, I would actually score there. And I'm going to end up saying that a lot in my Estelle games, but I really have, like, improved, like, so much on her. It's actually insane. Because these games, I'm probably playing at, like, a platinum level. But, again, I wasn't feeling hot on Juno. So even though I'm better at Juno, Juno was a little weak on this patch. So we need to mix it up. This should be a goal. I got stunned when I wanted to jump, so I guess not. That's another way to stop Estelle. You could just, like, CC her. And I mistimed that shot. The Kai, I think, actually might have been able to save that if he played or if he moved a little better. That's the downside of WASD. So WASD, you actually like move slower, which is odd that we're like making that sacrifice, but just being able to shoot in the direction you want all the time is just such a big advantage that it doesn't matter. So there we do the Estelle. We just shoot the ball at them and then throw our ultimate projectile. Pretty easy goals there if they don't use abilities on you. But yeah, it's one of the trade-offs because obviously if the MOBA movements are so much more precise, controller is probably the way to go because you could both theoretically aim your shot and have precise movements on like an axis. It's not as precise as MOBA, but it's like close enough, right? You get like a full 360-degree axis, so technically you could be able to do like perfect movements. But MOBA's always going to have the best for that. But it's like the drawback is you need to be faker to play like that and still hit the ball where you want. So it's just not worth it, you know? Shot, I missed the shot there. So if I shot it on goal the first time, my projectile would easily put it in. But I didn't get it on goal, so that's why the projectile looks so weak. But normally you would be able to score from there. Maybe I could have shot my ult there. Drekar was kind of blocking, so that one's debatable. He blocked that one. Missed the shot, but I think it's like fine to waste it there because it's like when there's a shot on goal, it's like you're just trying, you know, like you're not supposed to score in most cases, so it's just percentage plays, right? Their goalie's gonna mess up sometimes, so you always just want to test them, right? And if they deflect it in a weird way, maybe like your shot, which may not be in the perfect spot, might still score because again, like you just need to test them. It's kind of like throwing rocks at someone and maybe they're an expert dodger of those rocks, right? Like they could dodge all the rocks they want, but eventually you're gonna hit them and it's gonna hurt, right? Great saves by my Kai there. Good clear by the Era. Got to give props to your teammates when it's due, and I walked the wrong way. That's on me. That's on me. Luckily, it's 4-2, so we win anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So we could just AFK during this point and yeah, pick up a easy 4-2 win. We made some good goals, right? Like not everything was complete garbage. In the beginning, for sure, I was playing like turbo garbage, but I did have some decent goals, right? Most Estelles would score in those same situations. I'm not debating that, but it's still nice to have. So we're back up to 78 LP. Are we actually going to make it there? Oh, man. Obviously not, because there's still like 40 minutes left in the video. We're going to pick Juno here. Also, like, you don't know how many points you're going to gain each game. So the way the point system works is actually good. A lot of people complain because they're like, oh, how come some games I gain 10 LP, some games I lose 28 or whatever. The reason why it's like that is because it's taken off the chess system, right? Like the ELO system or at least something similar to it. And if you're facing worse people, you're going to gain less but lose more. And if you're facing better people than you're going to be gaining more and losing less when you win or lose. So it just depends on the ranking of the enemy team. So it's really tough to tell in a lot of cases. We jumped up a bit there, playing some Juno forward a bit. Is this the same? It's like similar to the same Estelle we had a couple games back, but no big deal. I should probably drop back a bit. Ooh, we probably should have scored there. We weren't coordinated with our projectiles, but good clears by her. Ooh. That jump up is really risky, but she gets a good knockout there. The other team really should have punished that jump up, but they didn't. They made another mistake, and then RSL punished them just as hard right back. So that's a very good play by them.
I got carried that play, you know. I'll admit it. Right, round starts, gonna shoot a thing. Estelle's holding off from her shot. I like using my ult early because I use extra special a lot, and that just means you have a lot of charges for it. So the more you use it, the faster it comes back on cooldown, so it's just good map control. I probably messed up somewhere there. I didn't really have that many cooldowns, but maybe I could have just shot it somewhere. Sometimes I like waiting to see if they hit it back to me, and if you hit it back, I just score really easily because their stuff's on cooldown. But their Kai was patient, so not able to do that play. We do get scored on there. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe they just had a good combo. But we have 3 minutes left right now. Again, going to use the ult because of extra special. Bit of a waste of my kicks there. And then Drekar, I completely lost track of him. It was pretty obvious where he was too, so that's on me. I should have been able to clear there. Good jump by their Estelle, but good clear by my goalie. And I'm just going to play in this little quadrant here, you know. I guess like we could call these little sections quadrants, right? You get it. Oh my goodness. Oh no. We almost snuck a goal there, but not quite. I'm not sure if I like would be able to score there if I played perfectly. Probably would have, right? I don't know how perfectly I'd need to play though. Like, is that forgiving? Because like it was very on the borderline for the save, and then like my rebound, I pretty much shot it at the other corner. But maybe there's like another pixel I could have done. Oh no, you cannot be on the edge next to Drekar. That's my bad. I am really bad into Drekar players. Drekar's like one. Look at how my Estelle played. She moved away from the edge a tiny bit once the Drekar was there, even though he was stealth, and that pretty much saved her. I need to do that more often. Oh, not a good jump. It deflected the wrong way, but it's okay. But yeah, I am horrible into Drekar because I'm an edgelord. I like being by the edge, and you just can't do that against it. It's the worst thing to do. There's no way we don't score there, right? Holy cow. Maybe he should have cleared upward, but it got the job done anyways. Up. Couldn't get the shot there. Maybe I should have played a little further up, and then I could have gotten the rebound. I wasted my blob there. Actually, it ended up doing a hit, so that's a little lucky. I should have jumped a little further back, but luckily my Kai got me. I am not doing that well this game. Ooh, I almost let in a goal there too. Like, yeah, this is why it's good to watch replays, because you see your mistakes a lot, and I'm just wasting a lot of abilities and kind of not using my jump very well. I'm either overshooting or undershooting. Obviously, it's easy to say, like, oh, just, like, hit your jump better, but it's all about just timing and judgment, and hopefully over time I'll be able to get that better. But we do have a nice goal there. The ball was coming at the Kai. He had to strike, so you just have to wait, let him strike, and then you strike right back. Drekar's invisible. If their Drekar's smart, he should just like target me the entire game, because I clearly told him that I don't know how to play against it. Okay. Right as I say it. So he should just be like punishing me all the time, or just like even bothering me, because I'll probably get tilted. It's 30 seconds left, so we're probably going to have an overtime game, pretty much guaranteed. What I need to focus on here is just dodging the Drekar. That's really it. And maybe trying to force the Estelle to use abilities before it gets towards our goal line. That jump up there, absolutely stupid. Also stayed by the edge, so completely horrible play by me, right? This game is completely my fault. But, you know, it is what it is. We just gotta live with the mistake sometimes. I mean, it's not over yet, right? It's only 2-3. We could come back, but Drekar is very good in the late game, because a lot of Drekars, they take very late game based trainings. Like he has, I think it's called Prime Time. It's the one where you reach max levels and then you get an extra charge of your primary ability. I think that's what he's using there. Estelle should have scored there, but I can't really blame her because I got knocked out, so it's hard to when you're 2v3, right? Have to be very careful by the edge there. Oh no. He actually clutches it. What a god, and what a greedy play by their Kai. You guys need to check out our goalie video. It's like 10 tips beginner, or 10 mistakes beginner goalies make, or something like that, and
Leaving the goal is one of them, because you are the goalie. Only pull. Generally in a 3v1 you can pull, but you have to be extra careful still. You can't be like super duper far up where you can't even like return a drifter, you know? Like definitely play up, but maybe stay in like the defensive quadrant on your side. But maybe you don't have to be directly in your goal, you know? Like maybe something like that. There's like a fine balance. Obviously each situation is different. Depends on your character as well. And not able to get the clear there. Maybe if I cleared directly downwards and then wait a bit and then shoot it back in like the bottom left diagonal, maybe I could have cleared that way, but I kept hitting it back to him. I'm not sure what to do there actually, because that situation is a little tricky. I missed the shot there. That's really bad. I could have just struck it. Instead, I shot my projectile there too, so that's 2 mistakes again. So I think like 4 goals here were probably my fault, which obviously is not where you want to be. And we let the... Oh wait, the Dreadcard didn't have that training, so interesting, but he still destroyed me. So ironically, we still had more shots than them. I'm not sure how, because I felt like we were being destroyed the whole game. But new game starts. We have a Juliet and a Dubu. Juno and X were banned this game, so I defaulted to Estelle because I just don't feel that great on Luna anymore. We're gonna try to... Whenever we have a Juliet, especially Juliet mirrors, they often just fight each other. So there's no forward, there's no back forward, there's no support forward in these types of games. You just kind of have to let the Juliets do their thing, and I have to play both up and back, and so does their secondary forward as well. And again, just let the Juliets do their thing. You just have to kind of be a core whore in these types of games. So we get a nice combination there. It's too much for the Atlas to deal with. He's in a 2v1 situation because their Juliet was a little further up. Not their Juliet's fault. It's like their other player got knocked out, so it's hard to play when you're a man down, right? But we took advantage of the situation pretty nicely, and I missed the jump there. It's not good. Atlas is so hard to score against. Holy cow. He's probably one of the better defensive goalies. Oh my god, Dubu, you gotta clear that better. Oh my god, okay. We finally get the clear, but they're able to kill off the power play because of that. I should have taken the orb there. I don't know why I didn't. Luckily, my Juliet got that. Get a hit on the Estelle, and okay. Yeah, we just didn't take advantage of the power play because we couldn't clear on the pinball machine. A little unfortunate. Luckily, this map, it's like one of the least popular maps, so they temporarily removed it. But it was a little weird, I guess. Dubu's very good on this map, though, so yeah, that's just an embarrassing goal. Wow. Not very good. There's a bit of a goalie difference right now. This guy's name is Inept, and is that the map? Oh, for some reason, I recognize the name Harmless Pikachu. Where is that from? I just recognize it, though. Maybe it's because I played with them in Omega Strikers a lot on my team and their team before. For some reason, the name just looks super familiar. A decent ult by the Dubu. I'm going to try to... Do I have a nice jump? I should have jumped earlier there. Or just jumped at all. I didn't use it. Nice. Lots of missed combinations there. It's hard to just say, like, oh, just shoot the Estelle projectile in the correct spot each time. You always just have to try. Again, back to the percentage play thing. Mistakes are going to happen on both teams, and a lot of times it's just, like, waiting for the enemy to make a mistake, especially since the game's nice and fresh. But in those situations, there's really not much else to say other than just shoot your projectile better, you know? And that just comes with practice on the champion. We do get our Dubu knocked out there, so that's a little unfortunate. We can't really stop that goal if that happens. I'm not saying all 3 goals are directly his fault, but I'd say like 70% of each goal are probably his. Okay, that one I just missed the shot. Good ult by him. Good clear. Jeez, this Juliet. There's not much he could have done there. I don't blame him for this one. We were man down, so it's tough to save those. But man, their Juliet's getting a lot of play here. It's like completely dominating us. And they have an Atlas, so it makes it harder for our Juliet to knock people out. Wasted my ult there. How did I get knocked out there? That's borderline not kosher, and they just score like that. So I guess that's how we lose this game. The big difference this game was the enemy team, when they knocked us out, they really took advantage of those opportunities. I actually think we had the same amount of knockouts, but whenever we got a knockout, like we kind of just dawdled. We didn't really score on any of those plays. I think we scored 1 goal on a power play and 1 goal just regular. But every time they knocked someone out, I'm pretty sure they scored. I'm going to pick Juno again. X was banned this game. We're facing similar players. Inept is actually on the other team this time. And then Harmless Pikachu and the Juliet from last game is on the other team as well. So I think there's just this new guy. I don't know how to say his name. It's so long. The Dubu almost trapped himself. It's always risky whenever you Dubu trap yourself because it just like works the opposite against you. We're both chasing the ball now. Not very good. We should spread out a bit. Juliet blocked my shot. I wanted to shoot the Estelle to kind of knock her out. Not knock her out, but like stun her for a bit, but the Juliet tanked the shot, so that's really bad. Hopefully we win, because like this inept guy is, I just don't like him at all. So as long as we pressure him, it should be fine, right? But if we don't pressure him, then he'll never be exposed, you know? Gets a good ult there, actually, so we have to clear upwards. We get a clear. And I don't have my ultimate. I liked ultimating whenever we're on a power play. My teammate traps me, but luckily we're able to score on the power play there. That's funny. I've never seen that trap interaction often, but it happens maybe once every 25 games or 50 games. I'm not sure. It's pretty rare, though. I have seen it happen a bunch before. Apparently, alright, that's embarrassing, right? Apparently Juliet, when she ults near the center of this map, sometimes she gets stuck in the middle as well. I mean, the Estelle had her shot. Did Dubu have like no abilities or something? Is that why he couldn't save from that point? I wasn't really cooldown tracking, but surely we score here, right? Yeah. Yeah, when you ultimate in front of Dubu and he's kind of alone, you should have a goal scoring opportunity there. Obviously, we're 2v3 because our goalie's in our net and they had all 3 back there, but we're testing inept, so that's probably why we scored. No, Estelle shot it backwards. I missed that clear completely, so that's on both me and the Estelle. Estelle for getting knocked out, me for not redirecting. Like, the ball just waltzed past by me, so I can't blame my goalie for that. So he's playing aggressive because the gates are up. And he just started griefing. Why did he start griefing? I'm so confused. I really hate this inept guy. Like, he won't even let us play like a fair game when he's on the enemy team because he just started giving up for some reason when his team's winning. How do you even reason? Someone reasoned this for me. Like, what happened that made him want to do this? Did someone on the enemy team like do something bad to him? Let me know down in the comments if you saw anything that the enemy team did that would piss this goalie off. But man, this inept guy, like, holy cow. Maybe I should like blur names. I don't want people to like hate random people for no reason, right? I guess there is a reason, but like, I mean, I don't want people to like brigade someone, you know, just because their name is displayed in a video game recording, right? And I guess we win this one. It's a goalie diff again because he gave up. So just pray he's not on my team until I get to diamond, right? Like that's the only thing we can do. Looking at the saves, our goalie only made 6. He made 11, so maybe he was mad at like how the forwards were playing. But why did he grief after they scored a goal? That's what I don't understand. Start off this game with a quick knockout. I am playing X. He's finally unbanned, so I'm just gonna insta-pick him because he's my best character and this was a good patch for him. We weren't able to do anything, but oh, my Asher almost got knocked out. That was very close. I'm playing like defense a little bit because I'm waiting for my cooldowns. That's generally what I do on X when I don't have my ultimate up. I just kind of, wow, we just punched the ball in. We just kind of play back a bit and just, if the ball's near us, especially on maps where you can get in confined areas, it's really nice to just be there and just be a big figure because like your character model is decently big. It's not like anything insane because we don't take build different, but it's good enough, you know. Able to get another knockout there, but unfortunately, like, the ball gets pushed back into our thing over the barrier, so it's a little unlucky there, I'd say. But it sucks that we got a knockout and we couldn't close, you know? My primary there, they're abusing me a little bit. I waste my jump. Not waste, but miss. And then we have a 2v1 against their goalie, but since I didn't really have cooldowns, we can't really do much with that. Ah, man, I'm so impatient on that play. That is probably my fault, but Asher shouldn't have been knocked out, you know? But I could have scored there, and then none of this other stuff would happen. So even when a goalie makes like a boosted play, you could have still did something better to just avoid that situation to begin with. Again, I'm going to keep using this example, but people have to be tested. And if you don't let your goalie get tested, that's another way to win the game. Great knockout by him. So we had a mini 3v1, but Estelle just spawned. I get abused a little bit. Good save by her. See, if you have abilities up, it's pretty easy to stop Estelle goal. Because you just use it and kind of hit it. Estelle messed up her shot there. She was a little impatient. But we need to get this clear. And I was just in the wrong spot. Why didn't I try? Okay, I am a monkey. I could have just scored there. Instead, I sat on the orb instead of just scoring. Luckily, the same exact like projectile of the ball or projection of the ball came right back. Like the same exact opportunity came back. So I was able to get the same exact goal I could have gotten like 5 seconds earlier in. I ult. I tried to get both of them, but then Asher ulted, so it's a little unfortunate there. I should have knocked out the Estelle there, but I didn't follow her correctly because of the way the Asher ult forced her in a certain spot. I should have been able to read that. Holy cow, I would have been mad if that went in. This other one is fine because Estelle had full cooldowns, but that was a little too close for comfort. But again, they still scored, so we're still down a bit. Maybe instead of sitting on their goalie, I sit on their Estelle. Maybe that would have worked out this game because it makes her use more of her cooldowns. It's kind of hard for... the thing is, it's just harder for us to score if I don't just sit on their goalie. I'm kind of playing like both roles this game. I'm also not timing my autos correctly. I could have scored there earlier if I just waited a bit longer. Their Asher's actually smurfing, kind of. I don't think it's that our Asher isn't that great. It's mainly their Asher is just better than her. But I don't think my Asher is bad, per se. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Like, look at that. Her ultimates are just so oppressive. How did I get knocked out there? That is suspicious. 2-5 loss. Oh man, we had such a good start to that game, but it just fell apart so quickly. I really hate those situations, but yeah, their Asher for sure carried. She is definitely MVP. I mean, props to them. Like, one player can for sure carry. We're at 32 LP right now, so we got to fix that in this next game. This is game number 20, actually. I'm going to pick Juno. X was banned, so just default there, and my teammate's picking Estelle. Maybe that's why I recognize Harmless Pikachu. I've played with or against him like in the past 5 games or something. I don't even know how many it's been. Just as long as we don't get the inept guy, I'm happy. Oh, Vladilina. We played with him too. If I remember correctly, he's pretty good. Upwards, yep. Exact clear that I wanted, and centered to me, but I shoot it. I should have shot downwards instead of top part of the goal. We're kind of switching places with the Estelle a bit in terms of top and bottom. Always remember, like, there is back and front, or sorry, left and right, but there's also top and bottom spreading out, so you always have to be on one side or the other. Sometimes if they use their jump to your side, you could jump to the other side, because it's always good to be open for passes, because, again, we're playing soccer or air hockey at the end of the day. And in any goal sport, like those two, you just never see, like, any professional soccer team have 2 players in the same exact spot. That just doesn't happen. In hockey, it happens sometimes, but it's still very, very rare. You know, it's like there's a reason things happen. Right? They get a nice goal there. It's just like a weird angle, weird bounce that I think got them that. I don't really fault anyone on my team for that one. But we also are taking extra special, so as per usual, we're just going to be dropping our ultimate. The reason why I just keep taking the same rune page is that sometimes, or sorry, the same training page, is that sometimes you just need to get used to something, and when you are used to something, switching, even if it might be a better training, is sometimes suboptimal, because as long as you play to the strength of the training, there isn't really that much like power level lost, you know? You just have to play towards what you have spec'd out as. A lot of people are like, oh, you have to run these trainings. And while that is true for a lot of champions, like, as long as you're not running complete garbage, you should be fine. Great clear by my goalie, holy cow. And then the Estelle, oh, their Dubu. I'd be mad if I was the enemy team. Their Dubu should have gotten that one, I feel. Or maybe they don't let the goal scoring situation happen in the first place. But yeah, so when you have so much practice on one specific page, if you switch, you might think that your ultimate cooldown is back, or maybe wondering like, hey, how come I don't have as much board control? But then I'm like stronger because I took a different mastery. So maybe I took creator of large things or something like that. I'm like, hey, how come my blobs are bigger? And then I'm not playing with that specific mastery in mind. It could be really bad because like you're just not used to it, and then you don't make use of the other mastery. So that's why taking the same thing every game can be a good thing, unless you have like a lot of practice not taking the same thing every time. So it's like personal preference, right? Sometimes you take the same exact thing, sometimes you switch it up every single game based on what you're playing, what the enemy team's playing, what your teammates are playing. But at the end of the day, just remember what you took and play to its strengths. There's really all there is to it. Again, on Juno, like, sometimes I take crossover. It's the one that gives you haste after you strike and stuff like that. So when I'm doing like goal scoring Juno, I do prefer that page, because having speed when you're up in their face after hitting the ball is really nice. Also, whenever you strike with your blobs, you kind of get the bonus as well, so it's like just pretty good in general. But we get a good goal there. My Estelle definitely carried that. I didn't really do that much in this point, but sometimes you get carried, right? We are playing like the more defensive role, so it is harder to like kind of shine there. Mainly you just get a bunch of redirects, which looks good on a stat sheet, but you don't notice the big plays in game. You just have to kind of be a little consistent. It's kind of like being a goalie, but less pressure, I would say. Here it's nice when we're on like a shorthanded play, because oh, I should not have gotten hit by that Dubu thing. Because having essentially two goalies is, I mean, obviously you just want that whenever you're shorthanded, right? Our Estelle keeps getting knocked out. Oh no. I can't really blame her for that though, because she did carry the other points. Her getting knocked out caused me to get knocked out though, and then they scored. So I guess it's break even, right? You carry one play, then you grief the next one. It happens. It's just part of the game, right? Their Era is really annoying. I hate facing Era in general because she changes your character model size, and then again it goes back to the whole conversation of like being used to something. If you're used to a certain size, once you change, it's going to be a lot different. Either you're not going to be able to take advantage of the better size, or you're like super struggling with the worst size. Man, that, what's her name, getting a huge knockout streak. Decent clears. Okay, nice. That's why you gotta always spread out top and bottom. Their Juliet was kind of centered, and then their Era was top, and that allowed us to kind of get that clear there when we were on the short-handed end of the stick. But they do get a nice combo there. There's just, the ball's flying too fast. Eventually it's gonna get in, right? Even if our goalie is really, really good, eventually something's gotta give. I think here I need to focus more on like the central board control, because there's a lot of times where we're in a 2v2 situation at our goal, which is pretty hard to defend, right? But if we just cleared it towards our Estelle and she's like alone with the Dubu, it should lead to like a lot of goal scoring ops, right? I should have cleared upwards there. I don't know why I'm not. The reason why you want to clear upwards even though our teammate wasn't up there was because she can blink to it. Great goal there. She's been trying for that for a while now. I think like maybe 5 times in a row. Finally hits one. Again, it's just percentages. Sometimes the goalie deflects in a way that matches up with the shot. Sometimes they don't, and you just got to test them. So we just ulted in the middle. I hit it into Era's ult by accident, but then Era shot it backwards as well. So I guess we can kill off this penalty pretty easily, or this knockout. Wow, this knockout timer feels really long. It feels longer than theirs. Maybe. Oh no! That was a pretty soft goal. He normally gets those. He normally gets those. He's been making a lot of saves though. You can't be too harsh on the goalie, right? Like you make your fair share of mistakes in the game as well. Upwards, okay. This Era ult prevented me from clearing downwards. We get the jump kick. Oh no, okay, good clear. We need to spread out with the Estelle. Somehow we score that one. That one's actually really weird. Did their Dubu mess up somehow? Like me and Estelle were in the same exact spot, so we should never get an opportunity that good. At least theoretically, right? Because you can only hit the ball once. It's not like you could like speed it up or something. So if you're in the same spot, double striking does nothing unless you're trying to like win a clear war or something like that that only cares about that spot. But even in a clear war, if you're outnumbered, you can just shoot it in a spot that isn't next to or directly at the person who just shot it back at you. But we finally get a good goal there. 7 goals for this Estelle. That is, or 6, 7? I don't even know. But yeah, our Kai definitely carried his weight in the goaltending position. This is like a very classic stat line for everyone. Lots of goals from the goal scorer, lots of saves from the goalie, and lots of shots and redirects from the support. But we're going to hop into the next game. We are against a Drekar, Estelle, Dubu. Similar teams, or similar players from the other game. I think just our goalie is different, and the Drekar. Drekar, again, I am so bad into Drekar, but hopefully we could make something work. I waste my primary there. I need to jump towards that direction, and then I get blocked on my shot, but that's okay, because we still do a bit of damage. We're not able to get the clear there, because the barrier kind of messed with us, but we get a solo scoring opportunity. Great save by the Dubu. I should have held off on my shot for just a split second. And maybe I could have finished that off there, but good save by him. He was able to block the shot and then the blob redirect as well. So very well played by him. On this map, you have to... Ooh, yeah, he was forced to use the ultimate and then our Estelle finished that off. That's a pretty textbook goal right there. On this map, you have to decide whether you're going to be on top or bottom. A lot of maps are more left and right, like one person's left, one person's right. But on this one, for the 2 forwards, top and bottom, I think, is the ideal situation. That's why you'll see a lot of times I'll randomly just be the only person out of the 6 players in the game on one side of the field. That's just because it's so important to do on this map, because that barrier just really messes with a lot of people. We're about to spawn. Goods clear by my Atlas, and always, like, if your teammate is free on the other side, just do whatever it is in your power to get it to the other side. Oh man, I should have just shot there instead of, or sorry, I should have just kicked instead of using my projectile. Downwards, nice. Their Dubu hesitated for a split second on that shot. If he reacted right away, he would have been able to save it, but it's hard to do, you know, because you don't know whether I'm gonna shoot upwards or downwards at that point. New point. Estelle gets the shot off. This Drekar is kind of harassing me, so I have to jump away, but I jump towards the edge. Big mistake there. You never want to do that against him. I could have just jumped maybe even to the enemy side of the field and just like let them have a 2-on-2, you know? It wouldn't have been the end of the world. But we get a jump there. I should have just kicked it again instead of using my primary. Great save by my Atlas there. My Atlas, definitely the MVP so far. Not that my Estelle's doing poorly, but it's just this Atlas just making really good saves. Get the ultimate there to try to kill the power play. And just going to be a little defensive for a while. Our Estelle had some alone time with their Dubu. So pretty high percentage chance to score on those plays, but not able to connect. Which is fine, because we are winning, and finally connects there. Even though that opportunity was harder to score from than the other one before. But, you know, that's how life works sometimes. You know how sometimes maybe you're in school and there's like a very hard test or something like that, and you do really well on the super hard test, but then on like a silly quiz, you do worse on, even though there's less information to know about, and it just doesn't make sense. You do better on the big test than on the small quiz. And let's assume that you studied the same amount. Same thing happens in Omega Strikers, right? Not the best analogy that I've ever done in my life, but it is what it is. We get double knocked out somehow in the last point, so we just, yeah, they're gonna score there. But we'll reset. We have to be careful. That direct car's alone at the top, so me and my teammate should not be. We're hugging the same side, which is bad. Luckily, we don't get punished for it, so we could just chill for a bit and then. Oh no! See that? Whoa, Atlas! I was giving you so many compliments, but that right there, right before the ball came back on our side when we were trying to score on them, that's a great example of needing one person at the top side of the map and one person on the bottom. If we do that, like their Dubu just can't clear at all. Okay, their Dubu just. He inted there, so Remy 10, please don't be on my team. I guess when the gates, maybe he thought the gates were up or something, so. I'm gonna ult defensively because they're putting on a lot of pressure right now. I'm gonna get this orb, and then I should have shot downwards there passed downwards towards my Estelle there. We would have been able to get a good scoring op if I did that. Oh my god, she creates them herself, but unable to get finish the job. But sometimes you have to look more for the passes than for kind of like the shots whenever your teammate's in a good position. It's hard to make the split-second decision because it's instinctual to just shoot it directly where you want to shoot. But you always have to look up for the pass. Wow, 45 saves to 27. And we're at 70 LP now. This is when I was telling my friends, because I had some of them in voice chat, they were just watching me play. I was like, I just need 2 games of X not banned, and then we got it. And we get one right here. X is unbanned, so we have to take advantage of these situations. We're going to be running the same exact rune page. We have this Vladilena Kai as the goalie again, so all is good in the world. This has to be a win, right? We have a good goalie. We got a champion that we like or are comfortable on. And they have a Dubu. For some reason, in this patch, I really liked facing Dubu. Apparently, Dubu's pretty good at dealing with X. But for some reason, I find I have a very easy time against Dubus. The trick to beat this goal-sitting strategy is just ignore me. But he throws all his abilities on me, so that means whenever the ball is coming towards the goal, I just have the freest goal ever because I just need to wait for him to strike and then strike second. And yeah, that's all because he uses all his abilities on me. We're gonna step back a bit because we don't have our cooldowns, and then right as we get our ult, we're gonna walk right towards him. Try to get the strike gold there. We're gonna ult. We get a nice hit. I'm gonna steal the orb, and then look at this air. Look at this Dubu. They're ulting backwards. They're wasting so many resources on me. But for some reason, Kai scores 2v1 or 1v2. How is that possible? How is that possible? Era's using her shrink on me. Dubu's ulting backwards into me, but we get scored on. Oh my god. It's okay. It happens. It happens. I probably missed a goal somewhere earlier on. We're just going to run straight at their goalie. We get scored on. I don't know how this is happening. Vladilena was supposed to be the chosen one. He was supposed to help us get to Diamond, but I don't know if it actually is his fault. Maybe it's the Estelle's. I haven't been paying that much attention to it. I'm just trying to play my own game because that's all you can do sometimes, right? And right here, if we don't score here, everything would be for nothing, and we don't. So that is my fault. Definitely need to take advantage of those opportunities. So if we get scored on during this point, it'd probably be on me because I should have finished there. They are all low, so it's really good. We're still in a good spot. Not the best opportunity because I don't have abilities. Good clear there, and then, oh man, I hit it into the wall. Okay, we forced his ult out finally. Their Kai should have scored there. I have my ultimate now, so just quick, easy hits. This should be a goal. And I mess it up. It's just timing the shots. Okay, finally we get it in. You know, sometimes it's like trying to get pregnant, right? The first time, sometimes it doesn't work. But then maybe 10 opportunities later, someone's pregnant. Not the best analogy. Okay, it's been 2 hours, guys. It's it's hard to think of good ones. Their Dubu just completely messes that up. They're hilarious. This is what I love about the goalie sitting strategy. They start playing so weirdly whenever you get in their face, and that's the strength of it. You kind of get into their head. So if you just don't let X's get in your head as a goalie, like that's how you beat it. Like the Dubu just, he's completely not in the game, like mentally. And I'm pretty sure it's just because I've just been harassing him the whole time. Like he's been ulting backwards. He's been trying to throw all his abilities on me, and he's probably not even looking at the ball. He's probably just looking at me. That's probably why the goals are going in. So it's pretty funny. The score shouldn't be this close because they did score the 2v1 goal before. Like, look, he's ulting when there wasn't like that much danger, right? So once there is danger, he's going to have no cooldowns left. I do get beat up a bunch there. Look at this. They're like 3v1ing me, trying to knock me out. They're not going to score on this power play because they burned all their cooldowns on me, so they won't have much to score with. Like by the time they have it up, I'm back already, so then we're back on equal footing. I guess that ult was okay. I don't know if it's like completely necessary. Good deflection by Makai. Look, this Era's ulting backwards into her goal. So instead of using it to score on our goalie, somehow they still scored though. Like this Acorn guy is a smurf or something like that. I don't know. But Era's literally ulting backwards and they're still scoring. But that's how much I'm bothering them right now. I'm not trying to like take all the credit for this game because we're not even winning. I definitely should have scored on other opportunities. But their Dubu and their Era are just completely out of it. Like the ball's not even coming at their goal, Dubu ults, and that causes us to score a goal. Like, hilarious play. This is like textbook getting in someone's head. I haven't even like knocked him out, have I? Like, yeah, I don't think I've even knocked out the Dubu and he's being this bothered. Hilarious stuff. Yeah, Era's just, she's shrinking me, she's hanging back a bit. I'm missing all my abilities, but Dubu's still throwing stuff at me. And here's a little dicey because I kind of just let my Kai 1v1 their Kai, which is a little risky, but we were on a power play, so we're going to be outnumbered no matter what. So I just decided to kind of CC both of them with my ultimate. It means I won't have my ultimate for a goal scoring opportunity like this one, but at least we burned the power play, right? Or the penalty. I don't know how to call it, but again, he's ulting when the ball's not near him. I waste my thing there, but it's okay. I was out of position, and somehow we score. I don't know how that one went in. That one walked right by them, so they definitely should have stopped that. But 5-3 victory. Pretty funny game. It was a little scary at the start because there were some 2v1 goals, but it all ended up working out. But yeah, look at this garbage. I got 0 knockouts, but it just didn't matter because their Dubu only made 17 saves. We are at 90 LP. We get into the next game, and we are having X. So X was unbanned again, and this is the most brawly team I've ever seen. We have Juliet, Asher, and X. There are going to be knockouts this game. And as I said before, like I was praying to the Omega Strikers gods right there. I was like, just give me X 2 more games in a row. They granted it to me, so it's up to me to take advantage of that and bring this home, get to Diamond, call it a night, or call it a morning, because I played these games at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., I don't even know. My sleep schedule was horrible at the time. It still is horrible, but it's not as bad as before. Good ult by my Asher. Good knockout there by me. This is where I spread out with the Juliet, and that's why you want to spread out. I could have had an even better shot. I could have shot it even lower, but notice how I don't chase the ball there. Someone's up top already. The ball's up top. Go towards the bottom to that sweet spot that I told you guys about, and yeah, easy game, easy life, you know? Lots of duels here. Dubu's ulting backwards. That's good. I am probably going to get knocked out by this Juliet, but they're wasting a lot of resources on me. Like, especially Juliet. She is melee, right? So when the Era was bothering me last game, she can still help out on offense or in the midfield, right? Because she's ranged. But whenever the Juliet's stuck in the back with me, she can provide 0 support for her team. So she better knock me out, and she just didn't. So we get a pretty good like, point there, right? Obviously, this goal here was should have been saved, right? But we still had the possession. We still had advantage of like map control, and that's just because you can't sit in the net against a goal sitter as a forward, as a melee forward, without knocking them out. We somehow win the duel there. I think she should have actually won that one, but yeah, easy goal there. We get a good outplay, and then we score there. Again, the Omega Strikers gods, they blessed me with an X game twice in a row when I really needed it. So I was taking advantage of it as much as I could. I think on this particular patch, such a bad jump by me. On this particular patch, Juliet was actually probably like the best character. I would try to ban it, I'm pretty sure, every game because especially whenever a Smurf plays Juliet, it's super, super difficult. Maybe if I angled my punch better, I could have scored. I get knocked out, a little greedy, but again, it's not the end of the world getting knocked out by that because he just doesn't have his ultimate anymore. And he's the goalie, so it's very important for him. Like, who cares about my ultimate? If I get a knockout on my ultimate, like, yeah, I'm pretty useless, but I'm not in an important position. I'm just a annoying forward, right? But if you're the goalie and you're wasting your ultimates, even if you get a knockout, like, I'm not saying you shouldn't knock me out there. You should knock me out there, but like if it's guaranteed, right? But it's not like that as big of an advantage as you think. Because, yeah, he wasted his ult there, didn't knock me out. So let's say they don't win the 2v2 there and the play is still possible. He's just not going to have ultimate next time the ball comes his way, and then you just have to strike second to really just finish off the goal. But we're up 4-2 right now. I'm getting a little giddy right now. Maybe I'm at half mast or something like that. We're going to just charge at him again because he isn't as bothered with me as the goalie from before, but he's still pretty bothered, right? He's probably asked his Juliet for help. I should have shot it downwards there to avoid the log, and then we just close it in. Easy goal. I could have shot it in any direction there, I think. But yeah, I had to get to Diamond in 2 hours in one play session. We were stuck for a bit. Overall, we'll do a stat check after this game. We went 14-9. We had 551 saves for my team, 537 for theirs, so I actually performed worse than I thought we did. Granted, we are playing X, so X does skew the scales a bit on that. But overall, 14-9, that's around 61% win rate. We could have just won that other game where we were up 4-1 to get Diamond. I think that was in like game 6 or something like that, as we can see here. But instead we didn't. It took us down in a spiral, but we worked it all the way back, so I'm really happy about that. We went 0-1 on Luna, 6-5 on Juno. That's actually better than I expected. I thought I was losing with Juno. 6-2 on X, of course, and 2-1 on Estelle. Keep in mind, X was banned so much. I really wanted to go him every game. I think the only times I didn't go him was when he was either banned or when my teammates were picking him, and I'm like, all right, I'll take the other role. In terms of goals for, goals against, we had 88-77, which kind of makes sense because we did win more than we lost, but pretty interesting stats overall. I wish there was like good stat tracking in this game. Perhaps later on, when more people get access to the API, cooler stuff will happen. But if you stuck around this long, thanks so much for watching. Hopefully this video helped you guys climb in Omega Strikers. And let me know if you have any questions down in the comments. Always leave a timestamp because the video is pretty long. But I really do hope to see you guys in our future videos. And let me know what type of videos you guys would like to see as well. We're going to be updating our website a bunch over the next couple of weeks because my friends that I'm doing this channel with have a lot more time now. So we're going to be doubling up on pretty much all sorts of content, both on video and on the website, osn.gg. So be sure to bookmark that, check it out, and I hope to see you guys all later.